Because half of the tasks in Lab 6 ask you to prompt the user for multiple inputs, I thought a brief video might help you so that you weren't confused as to how to check multiple doubles to make sure that they are indeed numbers and not strings, or multiple integers to make sure they're really integers, not strings. So the one we did in class today talked about the ship cost calculator. This was just asking the user for one input right here. One input. What's the cost of your item? So as you can see here, we only have this one if block followed by one else block. Now I know there's also another if else block inside here, but that has to do with the cost of the item compared to the free shipping. There is only one if block about the is this a double or is this a string, which is trash. Okay, so what we need to do is consider when we're asking the user for multiple inputs, like the fuel costs task or the rectangle task, because they're asking for you to give the width and the length of a rectangle, or they're asking for the miles per gallon, the fuel efficiency, the amount of gallons in the tank, and so on. So they're asking you to prompt the user for multiple inputs. So I thought I would go through and give you an example of how to ask for multiple inputs. And I even made up a little example here. Let me get back to it. Here we go. An example for receiving multiple inputs from a user for a program. Please design a program that asks the user to enter the amount of their check at a restaurant and the percentage they would like to tip. The program then computes the amount of the tip and the total cost of the tab, of the check, however you want to call that. So going back into Java here, into NetBeans, I'm going to a Java application. I'm going to call this restaurant check. Finish. And then I'm going into my source package. I'm going to right click. I'm going to do Java main class. I'll just call it restaurant check again. And finish. All right. So as you know, at the very top, we delete the first 4 lines or so. We add to our email. Remove our curly braces so that they're one on top of another. And we start coding right here. So, going to try to do this one start to finish for you so you can kind of follow the way I was prompting you in class to first start off with just the basics and keep adding layers to your project, to your code. So the first thing we're going to need is the check total, which would be a double. You know what? I'm going to say amount of check, because I'm going to use check total later for something else. And then double, we'll call this tip percentage. I'm also going to output the total check. You can call that grand total if you want, something like that. Since I know I'm going to be prompting, I know I'm going to want a scanner. I'm going to add that too. And since I prompted for this scanner, you can see that I need to add my import, the Java util, and add that in right off the bat. And I'm also going to be making sure that this is actually something that works. So I know I'm going to need a trash string, so I'm going to add that in. And I might need other variables, but that's probably going to be good enough for right now, because until I decide on any others, this will probably work for now. Okay, so then I'm going to prompt for for the amount of check and tip percentage. Then I'm going to calculate. I'm going to say that the amount of the tip, oh, that's a double that I forgot, right? I need to put that up here. Double amount of tip. All right, so let's calculate that. We're going to need to first figure out the amount of the tip. And the way we figure that out, we take the tip percentage, we multiply it by the amount of the check. And then we would output your tip will be, and then amount of tip. Then we could calculate the total bill. So we say total check equals amount of tip plus amount of check. And again, we'd output again that your total bill will be total check. All right, now you can see some errors popping up here because it says you didn't initialize these. Well, I don't want to initialize them because I'm actually going to seriously prompt for these, okay? But this is our basic outline. Variables, prompt, process or calculate, and output. Now I know I did them kind of split, process, output, but that was just so that you could see each one. I could easily take this line right here, line 26, and put it after line 28. I could do all the calculations and all the output. Really doesn't matter which order you put those in. Okay, so I'm going back to prompt my user now, okay? I left a space here so I didn't forget. Now I'm going to prompt. I'm going to say, please enter the amount of your check. All right. Might even put a $sign there because it's going to be in dollars, okay? And then the user is going to give me the amount of check, and that is a double, so I'm going to read it in next double. And then I'll clear that in next line. Because after we read it, we want to clear the buffer. Okay, so everything should be pretty good, except you can see here I still have a little bit of an error because it's saying this hasn't been initialized. Well, that's because not only do I need the amount of the check, I need the tip percentage. So I'm going to have to prompt again for some more. I need to say, please enter the percentage you would like to tip. And again, that's going to be a percent. So I'm not going to put a $sign on that one. Okay? And the user will say tip percentage equals, and then we read it in next double. And then we clear the buffer. All right, now everything is good. If I run this program right now, I will be in good shape. Let me get up to the top here. Run it. Let's see if we have any mistakes. All right. It is starting and it says, please enter the amount of your check. So I'm going to say that it's a $50 bill. Enter. Please enter the percentage you would like to tip. Let's make it easy. Let's just do 20%. Okay. Now, we have a mathematical problem here because I am not going to give this person a $1,000 tip. That would be insane. I'm sure they would really like me, but that would be insane. So we forgot about that decimal place. So let's go back and fix that first off because we don't want to have that problem. So if it's 20, if tip percent is 20, that's what the user entered, we actually need to divide that by 100 so that it's a percent, and then multiply it by the check. Now let's try it again so that we don't accidentally overtip. Okay, running it again. Enter the amount of your check, $50 check, 20% tip. Oh, much better. Okay, that's much more reasonable, right? A $10 tip, total bill of $60. So it's working. So if I try it again though, I'm running it. I'm going to try to break it this time. Amount of your check, $50 and 20. I'm just going to write the word. Okay. Well, that's a problem. You can see that my bill just failed because we haven't made it safe. So we want to make this safe, just like we did when we had one input. And the way we make it safe, we go right here to where the user entered the variable, and we wrap it with an if and an else. So before it, I'm going to put the if. If in has next double. What that means is if the user enters a double, and then I'll put my braces, all of this goes inside the braces right here. Everything that I've typed so far, because I'm assuming they typed a double. So we're going to proceed. So I'm going to grab it and I'm going to paste it. Now, it didn't all paste, and I don't want to have to tab over each line, so I'm going to highlight them all and press tab. Okay, so either they enter the double, which we want, else they don't. Curly brace. If they don't, what they've entered is trash, so we read it in next line. And then we report back to the user, you didn't enter a price in numbers. And then we tell them what they entered, which was trash. Okay, so now we're good, except we have to go along in our code here. We enter the amount of the check, we clear it. Oh, we prompted again for another variable, the tip percentage. So we have to protect this double as well. So right here, as I'm going along, I'm going to space it down again. I'm going to do this if in has next double again, just like I did above. Enter my curly braces. And everything right here goes inside that if. And once I'm finished, I'll go over it and hopefully it'll make a little bit of sense about how the structure looks. And then I'm going to take these and I'm going to tab. Okay. I think we're looking pretty good here now. All right. Where I have an if, then I'll have an else. In my else, again, I'm going to read the trash in next line. And I'm going to output, you didn't enter a number for the tip. And I'll tell them what they did enter. They entered trash. They entered that string of lines that doesn't make sense, okay? So I'm going to scroll here. Hopefully you can kind of see we have this if block right here, and then an else block. But within it, we have an individual if block followed by the else block. And if I did it again for a third value, I would just indent again all the way to here, and I would keep on nesting these one inside the other inside the other. And now, when I run it, it's not going to break. So I believe that the fuel cost one asks you to actually input 3 inputs. So you'll have 3 different little nested loops here. Not loops, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. 3 little nestings. Okay, the amount of the check, 50. I'm going to say 20. I'm not even going to spell it right. I'm just going to say 20 with a minus. And it says you didn't enter the number for the tip. 20 is not a number for a tip. And it stops. And again, ultimately, after Module 7, we'll be able to make it go back and prompt the user again until they get it right. For right now, we're just going to have to accept our limitations where we are. I hope this helps. Please feel free to email me if you have any questions.